Hi, I'm Robert Irvine, and you're listening to Beyond the Plate with Cappy.
Hey everyone, this is Cappy, and you're listening to Just the Plate, a production of Beyond the Plate. Just the Plate is a short segment where chefs describe a dish or a recipe that is meaningful to them. Last week, you heard from Chef Robert Irvine. This guy's a world-class chef, a fitness authority, a philanthropist, a father, and so much more. He travels over 300 days a year, and the funny part about this is when I called him to do this Just the Plate episode, he actually pulled over on the side of the road in Los Angeles to do it for us. You may know him from Dinner Impossible or Restaurant Impossible on Food Network, of which he's done over 200 episodes of those shows. He is a tireless supporter of our nation's military, founding the Robert Irvine Foundation in 2014 to support veterans and veteran causes that need the most help. So if you missed last week's episode with Chef Robert Irvine, please be sure to check that one out. This guy does not stop giving. He's pretty incredible. But for now, he's going to walk you through how to make a whole roast chicken with orange steamed beets. And personally, I'm always on the lookout for another great roast chicken recipe. I know everybody has their way that they make it at home, but I always love to dabble with different methods and techniques and temperatures and whatnot. But I do want to make a note, because he gives some times and temperatures as he's walking you through this recipe. You may want to rely on a thermometer or another method of telling if your chicken is cooked. He gives some times and temps in here, but everybody's ovens are different. If your oven says 325, it may actually be 315 or 335. I personally have an oven thermometer that sits in my oven, so I know exactly what temperature it is when I'm roasting something or baking something. But be on the lookout for his tips, because he gives a few great tips on how to tell if chicken is actually fully cooked. Anyway, I'll stop talking, but this is Just the Plate.
Hey, this is Chef Robert Irvine, host of Food Network's Restaurant Impossible, CBS's new show called Small Business Champions. I'm a dad, I'm a fitness freak, I'm a husband, and I love to cook. So today I'm going to share with you one of my fitness recipes out of my book, Fit Fuel, that's really simple, really flavorful, and everybody can get involved. So we're going to make today a whole roast chicken with orange steamed beets. I know what you're thinking, beets. Well, let me tell you, when you try these, you'll be a new lover of beets. So what we're going to need for this is a 3-pound whole chicken, some thyme, some oregano if you want to call it that way, I'm English, bay leaves, some kosher salt, and ground pepper. And you can mix all that up together. So basically, we're going to take your fingers on the chicken, loosen the skin of the chicken, the breasts and thighs, and we're going to take that. We've already mixed the salt, the pepper, the thyme under the skin. So all that stuff I just told you about, the thyme, the oregano, the bay leaves, the salt and the pepper mixed up. I'm going to rub that breast and the legs of the chicken nicely. Make sure you get the salt in the cracks and crevices of the chicken, because that's really going to make sure that we get lots of flavor. We're going to preheat the oven to about 450 to 470 degrees. If you don't have a cast iron skillet, you can use a sheet tray or half a baking tray. Put the chicken on it and roast it in there for about 10 minutes at 450 to 475 degrees. Whilst you're doing that, we can start getting the other stuff ready, but I'll go over that in a second. I want you to make sure that you reduce the heat after the first 10 minutes of putting that chicken in the oven. If you leave it at 450, 475 degrees, it's going to burn on the outside and be raw in the middle. We only need to literally cook it for 10 minutes at 450 to 470, then reduce the heat to 375 and leave it for a further 15 or so minutes. Remove any of the big leaves, like from under the skin, bay leaves, because you don't want to eat the bay leaves. The other herbs you can eat, but remove them, throw them in the trash. While that's cooking, you're going to take some beets, and I love red, yellow beets. You're going to need maybe 2 red beets or 2 yellow beets or 1 and 1, whatever you like. The more the better, because you can eat this hot or cold. So whatever's left, you can use at another time. 2 beets, cup of yogurt, some zest and juice of the orange, poppy seeds, 2 big cups of arugula, which is nice and peppery, and about an ounce or 2 of feta cheese. You're going to place the beets on a baking sheet and cover them with foil. Cook them in the oven. Same oven as you're doing the chicken. You can leave it 375. So don't start them when you first start the chicken. Give that 10 minutes. 450, 475, then reduce the heat. Then you can put in the beets while the chicken cooks. And you're going to literally cook them for about, 20 or 30 minutes, depending how big the beets are. And I can't tell you how big you're going to buy them, but the way you know they're cooked is you take a knife, and if the knife goes easily through the beets, it is cooked. Once it's cooked, take them out, let them rest for a little bit because they're going to be hot for you to handle. Peel them using your hand under cold water. Chop them up, put them into a mixing bowl. And all you're going to do is take yogurt, the orange zest, and you can use a microplane for the orange zest because you don't want big pieces of orange zest in your teeth. They're not very pleasant. But a microplane is almost like a cheese grater, but just for citrus. If you don't have one of them, use the cheese grater on the finest of the setting. If you have a box grater, there's 4 different settings. Use one of those. You're going to add salt, pepper. You got the beets, the salt, pepper, the orange. If you've got any orange segments or mandarin, you can use mandarin oranges from a can if you need to. Put them in there and then mix it all in a big bowl with the beets, the yogurt, the oranges, the arugula, the salt, the pepper. And just before you're going to serve, crumble up feta cheese and just leave that in the refrigerator for about 5 minutes. Take the chicken out, slice the chicken into legs and breasts and thighs, whatever you want to serve it with. And when you eat this, I'm going to tell you have a new appreciation for beets and roasted chicken. Now, the way in which we check the chicken to make sure it's cooked, we take the whole chicken out and we cut down the side of the legs. If the liquid runs clear, then the chicken is cooked. If liquid blood comes out, it's not cooked, put it back. An alternative way to do the beets the day before, if you want to, keep them in the refrigerator and use them cold. So that's a simple recipe from Robert Irvine. And if you want more, obviously, keep following Cappy and listening to Cappy, and he can get you more. Anyway, that's what I got for you. Enjoy the roast chicken, orange beets, and we'll talk to you next time.
Find more on Chef Robert Irvine at chefirvine.com. This episode was produced by myself along with Ian Cohen and Joel Yeaton. You can find me and keep up to date with this podcast across all social media platforms at On Cappy's Plate or go to beyondtheplatepodcast.com. Do us a favor and please rate, review, and or subscribe to this podcast on your listening site of choice. Thank you for listening to Just the Plate, a production of Beyond the Plate. I'm Cappy.